It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
And welcome. It is Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Alstyne. Still here at home. I've really made the decision that I'm not returning to the car until next year. What's the point? Safety is an issue, and I'm kind of having fun doing this from home every night here. Quarantine Con Carne. Car Con Carne tonight, sponsored by C&H Financial Services. C&H offers a variety of products ranging from traditional merchant accounts to a zero-cost payment processing solution, which eliminates the expenses tied to accepting credit cards. C&H also offers cost-effective commercial lending programs, which can help you get your business the money it needs to make it through these unprecedented times. To learn more, contact C&H Financial Services at 855-600-2437 or go to chfs.us. And before we introduce tonight's guest, I want to show something. I'm going to do the screen share on the Zoom. This is meaningless if you're listening to the podcast. This right here is a picture that was texted to me earlier from a listener of Car Con Carne. Happy to Meet You is sponsoring the show this week. They are a delivery service. They bring steakhouse quality meats to your door. Seriously, some of the best steaks I've had in my life. The best burgers I've had. Their Mother Chucker burger. Fantastic. And they come delivered to your door in these really ornate boxes with like a steak-shaped and designed cookie. It's a lovely presentation, and listener sent that to me just to illustrate how awesome it is. So that's what you can get. Happy to Meet You. Happy to MEAT, the letter U.com. Use my promo code for free delivery this week. JVO will get you taken care of, and you really can't go wrong. So all that said, my guest tonight, oh my gosh, Wyatt Waddell is on with me. This summer, we have seen your name all over the place, sir. Your song, Fight, just took off. It was the right song, the right message, the right sonics, all at the right time. So let's start with that song, because it's a beautiful sounding song. It's got gospel, R&B, and soul. It's a very spiritual sounding, uplifting sounding song. But this was born, I mean, you wrote this post George Floyd.
Yeah. I was really going through a dry spot songwriting wise, and mixed with all the protests and things that were happening around that, it was a really bad combination for me, because I really wanted to go out there and protest, but at the same time, I really wanted to use my voice as a musician to voice my opinion. It wasn't until I think it was early June, my producer and my other friend and I were outside, and like we were all just sad about what was happening. And one of my friends was like, there's already so much pain in the world. And then something snapped. And I was like, okay, guys, I think I might have a song. Usually with songwriting, I'm the type of person that, shuns all of my quote unquote bad ideas. But this time I feel like this is one of the first times in my songwriting where I let myself go. And it was more than just for me. It was a message for everybody, So that
you said it. There's already so much pain. They got tanks coming through right here, and there ain't nothing else you can do. I mean, it doesn't get more timely than that. The Trib wrote about it. Rolling Stone wrote about it, which is mind blowing. Like I said, the message was there, and sonically, just more songs like that, please. It's so reverential to just great American songwriting. Just that gospel, like all the roots of modern music are all on display, and you made them very, very cool. I love just everything about that song.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So, I mean, as we're talking, Fight came out in the wake of what happened with George Floyd. You're a Chicago guy. Right over the border, we have what's going on in Kenosha. I feel sadly this song is going to remain relevant for a while.
Yeah, I feel like it has to. I always hark back to what Nina Simone says, an artist's job is to reflect the times that you're living in. It if it has to, it has to. It's out of my hands now. Everybody, it's everybody's song. I don't think I wrote it with any selfish intent,
No,
but I wrote it just to put it out there.
it's fantastic work. And let's take a couple steps back. Walk me through your musical history, your career, basically. How did you start? I mean, I was telling you this before we started. You have such a great voice. You're a multi-instrumentalist. When did you start putting this all together and focusing on a career in music in Chicago?
I started seriously about a couple of years ago. I think it was back in 2016, 2017. I worked for a nonprofit called Intonation Music Workshop. They're a really cool music program in Chicago. I actually grew up in the program, and after I graduated, I started to work for them. But as I was working, I met a guy who's like a producer. His name is Jason Rose, and we started, teaching classes together. And I went over his house, and he, made beats, things like that. And so we started collaborating on songs, and he knew people that knew other people, and that could get my music out there. And so after that, I started my own band. We're recording an album, and I'm releasing singles ever since then.
And you said it, you were having kind of a writer's block, creative block before George Floyd. It's a tough time to be creative. It's a tough time to communicate, period. I've mentioned this before, but I'll have people say, so what did you do this weekend? Well, nothing. I stayed home. I didn't do anything. I've got to imagine as a songwriter, it is hard to kind of pull inspiration other than just focusing on loneliness or, in the case of Fight, what was happening there. It's tough.
Mm-hmm. And as a songwriter, I feel like a lot of songwriters feel it, but like I feel very limited. And I feel like I have not lived enough or haven't experienced enough in life in order enough to write a song, and so I feel very limited in that sense. And I haven't been through as much as the next person has been through, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Let's talk about the new Vic Mensa, No More Teardrops. You're on there with Malik Youssef, who I interviewed a few years ago. Phenomenal talent. Rebirth Brass Band. What a cool song. Tell me how this came about.
Yeah. So I was getting a lot of attention on Fight, and Vic actually messaged me on Instagram.
Have you ever spoken with him before?
No, never.
I love stories like this.
Just out of nowhere, he just said, "Yeah, let's work, dude." And so we started working together, and called me up one day, and he was like, "Yo, I have a single that I'm going to release on Rock Nation, and I want you to help me work on it." So he came to our studio at Rosebud. We have a label called Rosebud, and we have a space. And so he came here, and I did a bunch of background vocals, and that was that.
That's a great connection. And to have him reach out to you, you probably popped up in your Instagram messages. You're like, oh, holy shit, that's cool.
Yeah. It was very surprising. Actually, it was after I performed at a protest over in what's that place called? I think it's Lakeview or Lincoln Park. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I did a protest in Lincoln Park, and I got the message my way back to the space, and he was like, "Yo, you're MFing Prophet. Let's work." And I'm like, "Yo, that's super dope."
Yeah, he's incredible. So I mentioned that you're a multi-instrumentalist, and also you draw from so much. One of the many reasons I have you on tonight, it's clear to me you're a music fan. I was watching when everyone started sheltering in place. You did a Stay Home Chicago instead of Sweet Home Chicago. Yeah. Classic song. Your backup vocalists I thought were fantastic.
Absolutely.
They were you. You created that whole thing at home.
No, I didn't. I sent it to my friends, and they were like, "Oh, all right." They happen to all look like me, so they're wearing the exact same thing.
I love it. And how important are the blues?
The blues is very important. actually, like, the Chicago is a very big blues oriented place with a lot of record labels like Chess, like promoting the blues a lot. But I think it's vitally important. There's a group called the Original Chicago Blues All Stars, and they used to, back when performances existed, they perform at this brewery called Motor Row. And the originals, like, there's a guy named Freddie Dixon, and his father was Willie Dixon, who was one of the most prolific blues songwriters ever. And so I know those guys, and they're really near and dear to my heart, because they are an important part of what Chicago has to offer musically. And so many reasons why people like the Rolling Stones or Chuck Berry or Led Zeppelin kind of, draw their inspiration from, Chicago blues.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's well known. I mean, when the Stones came to America, Chess was on their, like, that was one of the first things they did was,
oh yeah,
that was their visit to Mecca. They had to go to Chess.
Literally. And I think it's important because I found there's a guitar player that I know, one of the best guitar players I know. His name is Michael Damani, and he makes his own music as well. But that's where I met him. He still plays with the Original Chicago Blues All Stars. But that's how we kind of met, and we now play together. Which is
I worry that Chicago just pays a lot of lip service to the blues. It's so much a part of our DNA and our culture. Oh, yeah. Its impact on modern music can't be overstated. But I feel like when you land at O'Hare, you should hear, like, when people fly again, you should hear the blues. Like, when you step off the plane, you should be hearing a Willie Dixon song. I feel like there's not enough being done to keep that legacy and just that culture aloft.
Well, I think it's honestly overlooked nowadays because it's kind of looked as like a dead art, and like everybody is like repeating everything in the blues. But I feel like today there's more complexity, and people are kind of looking for more avenues to push through, as opposed to going back. But you have to go back in order to go forward.
Absolutely. If you're just joining us, that right there, that's Wyatt Waddell. When you're done watching or listening to this, please go watch the video for Fight, his song from the summer. It's stunning. I love you. I mean, I love you, but I love the song You, because it shows a lot of range. I mean, that's you doing falsetto. I mean, you really do kind of push yourself in all kinds of directions, it seems.
Yeah, it's 6 minutes too, so I'm like, it's one of the longest songs I've ever written.
It's gonna be tough when you start playing live again.
Oh yeah. I can't wait to play that one live.
So let's go back to this idea that you're a music fan, because it's clear. I hear it in the music. I hear all sorts of stuff. I don't want to ask you what your influences are, but I do want to ask you, what are those albums that, when you're stuck at home, what are your go-tos?
All right. You've opened a big can of worms.
I was hoping.
All right. So, I'm going to give you a list. Basically all the Beatles discography.
From the very beginning through Let It Be?
Primarily Rubber Soul, Abbey Road, Revolver, The White Album, Help.
Okay, so though you're touching on basically everything, the discography.
Yeah, pretty much. I take Stevie Wonder's classical period, which is like Music of My Mind, Talking Book, Intervisions, Filling His First Finale, and Songs in the Key of Life. I take the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, Beach Boys Today, Sunflower, Holland, Smiley Smile, Brian Wilson's Smile, Steely Dan's Countdown to Ecstasy, The Royal Scam.
Dude, I love that album. Kid Charlemagne and the title.
Green Earrings is one of my all-time favorite songs.
I just watched, I'm going through a Steely Dan renaissance right now.
Yeah.
There's a documentary on Amazon Prime about the making of Asia.
Yeah, I saw that. I love that documentary.
I mean, the complexity at which these musicians play. I mean, it's just untouchable, the things they pulled off musically.
It's so precise and so pinpoint perfect.
It really is. That's cool. Like
Literally.
they're top of mind with me as well right now. I mean, the song Pretzel Logic, I can't get enough of.
Exactly. I love Gaucho also. Like I feel like Gaucho is a quintessential Steely album.
The Gaucho in Asia are their moves towards smooth jazz, those kind of sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I initially wrote them off, and coming back to them, I'm like, oh man, there's so much going on here.
The funny thing about Gaucho, the title song, is that the song "You" was kind of inspired by that kind of vibe.
I hear it. I can totally hear it now that you say it.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the first songs I thought of. I was like, it has to have that boom, boom, boom.
I love it. All right, so hit me with something else.
All right, let's see. Sly and the Family Stone. I would get their what's their album with Sly jumping and Fresh? That's the album. I'd have There's a Riot Going On. What else? I'd have The Police's Regata de Blanc, Outlandos de Amor, and Zenyatta Mondetta.
Yep.
Possibly
those first three albums. That's all you need. Those are fantastic.
Regata de Blanc. I think one of my favorite Police songs is "Does Anyone Stare."
Unexpected.
It's so good. Like it's so off kilter, and I can really relate to it. It's just a great combination.
That's an interesting choice. That also has Bring on the Night, which is that's a great Sting song for sure. Uh-huh.
Yeah, did that song or that song by what's her face, Stevie Nicks, feels like a one window.
One Winged Up, yeah.
Yeah, did that come before Bring on the Night or Bring on the Night before that?
I think Bring on the Night would have preceded that, because Bring on the Night was 79.
I had a feeling.
One Winged Dove is maybe 82. I'm just guessing now, but I know Regata de Blanc was 1979.
I think, it was 79. But more albums, I think there would be Michael Jackson's Off the Wall and Bad for sure. Like, I feel like Off the Wall is overlooked because like Thriller, like Shadows.
Yeah,
Thriller's like a sonic masterpiece, but like Off the Wall, there's just something melodically crazy about it. Like Stevie Wonder wrote the song "I Can't Help It," and then Paul McCartney wrote the song "Girlfriend," and like some of my favorite musicians are like in there. Like some of my favorite session musicians, like Louis Johnson, Thunder Thumbs from the Brothers Johnson. Like he's one of my favorite bass players.
You're a younger dude, but I've got to think that you're a record collector just based on listening to you talk. Do you buy used records?
I don't. I honestly don't buy used records. I'm a millennial in the sense of I have my music all on my phone.
Okay. See, I would think it would be fun maybe to go, bin diving for old Sly records or old Stevie records.
Oh, it'd be fun, but at the same time, I'm a very particular person musically. I'm still trying to work on being open to other genres. Cause like when I started doing music, I was like shunning everything but the things that I really loved. But now that I'm older and now that I'm maturing as a songwriter, I need to open the doors a little bit in order to benefit myself. Cause I feel like I won't grow if I don't get open to other music,
I totally get it. And again, the song Fight, it's new. It's fantastic. No More Teardrops with Vic Mensa. Oh my gosh. The question I ask everyone, Wyatt, every musician who I have on during the pandemic, during this time, how can we support you? What can we do? Where do we go?
My single Fight is still on Bandcamp. You can buy it and all proceeds go to Shy Bond Fund and other organizations and things like that. If you want to give anything to me, my Venmo is DWAD96, DWADD 96, and that would be much appreciated. I think I'm opening for somebody on the 5th. I'll tell you guys. You can follow me at Wyatt Waddell Music on Instagram, WYATTWADDELL Music. I'll be posting because I have a couple of things coming up, and I'll let you guys know the details.
I love it. I feel like we need to follow you. You're at an exciting time. Things are coming together. It's so funny. My guest last night, Martin Atkins, who's worked with a bunch of post-punk and industrial bands like Public Image Limited and Killing Joke and Pigface. We were talking about how hard it is to be creative, or how hard it is for musicians to move forward in this time. And he said, do good. If you do good, and if you're creative, your career will find a way. Fight came out, all the proceeds benefiting worthy organizations. And here you are. And I feel like that put the gas on for your career. And it was you just doing what you felt was the right thing to do with your talent in making music. And after Martin said that yesterday and talking to you today, I'm like, that does make sense. Do the right thing and the rest will follow.
Yeah.
I love it. Wyatt, pleasure to meet you. I'm going to kill the Facebook Live, and thank you everybody who's been watching there.